Hi everyone, in this video I am going to share my Google interview experience. These are the details about the role. The role was Technical Solutions Engineer and the type of offer was a full-time offer. This was an on-campus opportunity but simultaneously off-campus drive was also happening. So I applied through on-campus. So first of all I filled a Google form with a resume and a video attached to it. The video was on the topic why the customer is so important and we were asked to make the video only of 1 minute. So I covered only important points. Then after shortlisting of the form, I don't know how they shortlisted, but I got the link for the test, the online test, and it was only covering the MCQs on the topic DBMS, operating system networking, OOPS, DSE and troubleshooting. Because it is a troubleshooting role, the troubleshooting questions were there. Technical Solutions Engineer. That covers troubleshooting also. So these type of topics were there in the MCQs. Then after shortlisting of the students on the basis of the test, 4 rounds of interview were conducted. The first round was a preliminary round. It was only 10 minutes because it was there to test whether the candidate should be moved for the further interviews or not. Whether he or she is fit for the interview or not. Then 3 rounds of interview were there after that. 2 were technical and 1 was HR plus googliness round. Each were of 1 hour. The first round was the preliminary round of 10 minutes. The interviewer asked me about web traffic handling. He gave me a scenario and he asked me how will I debug it, because of what the problem has arisen and what are the possible ways I will think to debug it. It was just single question and I had to answer within 10 minutes. So I told him what all possible ways I can think of debugging that issue in the website. So after that, I got a link for the round 2. In round 2, he asked me basics of web technology, like type of request, APIs. Then he moved on to networking concepts and the basics of networking. Some questions were direct and some were twisted. Like explain the OSI model, the protocols and something like that. These type of questions were asked. Then he moved on to the OS concepts. Then he asked me some shell commands related to a particular situation. Like for a user to access some file in a read mode, what will be the command? These type of shell commands he asked. Then he moved on to the coding part. There was a code and some shell output was given. I was asked to understand and explain what the program does and what will be the output of that program. Like there was a code written and there was a shell output. I had to explain the whole thing, like why this output is coming and what is the working of that code. Like there was some error in that code and I have to detect and tell that error along with the proper output. Also with the time complexity. Then after this round, I got a mail for the third round. In the third round, the interviewer asked me again the basics of networking and more about the OSI model. Brief about all the error codes and their explanation. Like error code 404, 200, 300. He asked me all the error codes that I know. So I explained him all the error codes that I knew at that time, and then he asked me some DBMS and OS concepts. Not the queries part, just the concepts. Then he moved on to the system design basics. Like he asked me how will you develop the system design for your project. So I explained him what I knew. And then he asked me some basic concepts of system design, like do you know the load balancer, what it does. These type of questions, basic system design questions you can search on the net. Like basic system design interview questions. These type of questions were asked for the system design. Then I got a mail for the fourth round, which was HR plus googliness round. In this round, they check whether you are fit for the company or not, the culture wise. So he asked me some general questions like how was your day, how are you feeling now. Then he asked me some questions related to the role, and he wanted to know whether I know about the role or not. What are the qualities of your role? Like if you are hired, then what qualities will you show? Then he started giving me hypothetical situations and scenarios. He asked me, how will I approach that? How will I solve that problem? Then he asked me, tell me something about a situation which I faced in my life and how I dealt with it. So I explained him a situation. Then he asked me a technical situation and he asked me, how will you handle this situation in a technical way and a non-technical way? So these type of questions were asked by the interviewer in the final round. So this was all about my experience for the TSE role in Google. Thank you.